again to our webinar series, the Nova Scotia Minister of Agriculture, our retail trends with Walmart. I'm Melissa Dio. I'm a buy local development officer with Perennia, and I will be your moderator today. And as mentioned, we're going to be hearing a presentation from Walmart along with a Q&A session as well. And next, we are going to listen to a video here from our Minister of Agriculture.
Welcome everyone to today's forum on retail and consumer trends with Walmart Canada. I'm very pleased Walmart is with us today to provide their perspective on the choices consumers are making surrounding food purchases. As Minister of Agriculture, I'm confident that Nova Scotia producers and food entrepreneurs will continue to be leaders in product development. My department's mandate is focused on ensuring Nova Scotians increase their consumption of local food, so I hope this webinar will help contribute to that goal. I'd like to thank our series sponsors, Farm Credit Canada, the Nova Scotia Farm Loan Board, and TELUS Agriculture for their support of today's discussion. And as this webinar series draws to a close this April, I look forward to seeing you all at our in-person conference, November 3rd and 4th. You can register now for our 2022 Ministers Conference for Agriculture at the Halifax Convention Centre by visiting the Perennia website. Thank you for taking the time to participate in today's webinar. I hope you benefit from the insights that will be presented today.
Perfect. And I just want to highlight a few of our sponsors, and we also have some videos from them as well. So Farm Credit Canada, Nova Scotia Farm Loan Board, and then also TELUS. And we're just going to watch a couple of their videos as well.
Food keeps our country going, and so do you. If you grow it, produce it, pack it, or move it, you're a key to our future. And we're behind you every step of the way. We're FCC, the only lender 100% invested in Canadian agriculture and food, serving diverse people, projects, and passions with financing and knowledge. If you're behind Canadian food, we're behind you. FCC. Dream. Grow. Thrive.
My name is Alphonse Vermeulen. My wife and I farm 50 dairy cows on a robot in Urbania, Nova Scotia.
We actually got married in 2014 and bought the farm in 2014. And originally we owned a tie stall in Princeport, and it was just January of 2020 that we moved to this site in Urbania.
We've been working with the Farm Loan Board since the beginning, when we first bought the farm in Princeport. The Farm Loan Board was more flexible with the challenges we were facing trying to enter the industry.
They helped us actually to do this site switch. They provided us with a loan that helped us to retrofit the barn that we're standing in right now. That was a tremendous help. It was a big step for us to move from the tie stall to the milking facility that we have here.
So with the loan board, we're character lenders, and we do like to develop relationships with our clients. And what that means is through the years, we get to see how people are progressing and how they're growing. We get to see their weaknesses as well as their strengths. We do look at, we review their financials yearly, and we like to see where we can make that better and make them stronger.
So we're really a complement to the other lending options. You know, we say that we don't compete with banks or other lending agencies. What we really want to do is provide a solution for farmers that is different than what's being offered commercially. Really diving down on the business plan, working with them to make sure that they have a partnership with other programs or granting opportunities is really what we're focused on.
They understood a lot of things that even we didn't understand, and it really helped us navigate some tough times when you're trying to get into the industry.
Agriculture fuels the world. But as our food needs evolve, so will our need for information. We're making a commitment to everyone, from seed growers to grocers, to leverage the power of connection and technology, to build trust, to link systems together, and to use resources and information in new ways. We want to build something stronger for everyone, to share the responsibility by cultivating partnerships that drive the industry forward and harvesting ideas as transformative as the first horse-drawn plow. Because we believe in creating better food outcomes.
Perfect. So thanks so much for our sponsors. We really appreciate their support in helping this conference take place. And I just want to remind everyone that we do have 2 other upcoming sessions that if you're interested in signing up for. One is next week with Sobeys, and then the following week we have one with Loblaws, and you can access that through Perinea's website. Also, I did just want to remind everyone, the minister mentioned it in his video as well, but we do have a live conference happening, which is November 3rd and November 4th. And you can register now for that conference. And we hope to see a lot of you guys there. And with that, we're going to move into our session. And I believe Nick Ritzie is going to take us off with his presentation. I think we have.
Thanks very much, Melissa. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Wonderful. Thank you to everyone who's joining this morning. We really appreciate your participation. See some healthy numbers at the bottom of the screen. So I can't thank you enough for joining today. I'm Nick Ritzie, Senior Manager of Public Affairs for Atlantic Canada, based out of Halifax. A proud born and raised Nova Scotian. So Melissa, thanks again for having us. Just wanted to quickly give you an idea of our operations in Nova Scotia. First off, nationally, we have more than 100,000 associates. 4,000 of those associates are in Nova Scotia. And it's a bit of a fun fact for a lot of people that we talk to. It's not overly well known that we have that many associates, and we're very proud of that. And they're across 18 stores and 18 pharmacies in Nova Scotia. We've now done over 800,000 COVID vaccines nationally, and that's something that we're very proud of over the last couple of years to try to keep Nova Scotians and Canadians alike healthy as we thankfully move forward out of this pandemic. I will loop back to it, but we're very excited to announce a Moncton Distribution Center in 2022, later this year. And I just want to make a quick note about associates. They are our heart and soul of the organization. All Walmart associates earn above the minimum wage and have trajectories to wonderful careers. It's one of the last places I think that you can start in high school and at a part-time job and work your way into senior management positions. And certainly from the time I've joined the company, the number of people I've met who have started working in high school, and they've been here for 20 years, and they're still very young, and they have exceptional positions and do a great job in the organization. So something we're very proud of, and also commitment to gender parity across the organization, which we're very close to in our leadership positions, and that means from our store level right up to our executives nationally. One of the trends and themes that we wanted to mention today is what we're calling regeneration, and known to you as environment and sustainability. something that is absolute cornerstone of what we're doing at Walmart. We have many different initiatives underway, commitment to reach 100% national waste diversion. We have a what we call Project Gigaton, which is avoiding 1 gigaton of greenhouse gases by 2030. We are moving to an alternative powered fleet, which we're happy to say that we have 130 Tesla semis on order. We hope to be 20% electric by the end of this year. Some fun facts about environment that we've achieved so far is we've eliminated 30,000 straws from our stores yearly. 1 million pounds of plastic has been removed, as well as we've gone bagless nationwide. So we made that announcement earlier this year. So no more plastic bags in Walmart locations. Doing simple things like removing plastic from bananas has taken 14,000 pounds of plastic out of circulation, and on single-use wrapping on peppers, 193,000 pounds of plastic removed. So it's something that we're very proud of, something that we continue to strive for, push for. We have very strict policies and commitments around how we source our products and how we operate as an organization, and we continue to look to be more regenerative as we move forward. And for anybody who has missed it this year, or I should say last year, we made an announcement that we are opening a distribution center in Moncton, hope to have construction finished at the end of this year. It's a 223,000 square foot facility, and while it's not in Nova Scotia, it will service 43 Walmart stores in Atlantic Canada. Currently, we use a Cornwall distribution center, which you can imagine is very far away for servicing all of our stores here in Atlantic Canada. So that's going to eliminate millions of kilometers from our supply chain. It's a major investment into the local economy in Moncton, but also the surrounding areas as well. So we look forward to opening that very soon. And we had a great kickoff event last year. So we're going to move on to some of the trends that many of you are interested in seeing. And I'm going to turn that over to my colleague, David.
All right, thank you very much, Nick and Melissa. Everyone, welcome today. Appreciate everyone being here. My name is David Wood. I'm the Director for Central Operations, looking after Eastern Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. And I'm a Cape Brettoner, born and bred, and a Nova Scotian at heart. Wherever I am at the moment, Nova Scotia first. We've been really proud to be working with Perennia and the group over the last couple of years as we continue to grow our footprint with Nova Scotia products, Nova Scotia producers to deliver local to our customers. So I think just a couple of things that I wanted to share. First and foremost, we are 100% committed at Walmart. We're looking to find out what we don't know, find suppliers that we may not be dealing with today, and support Canadian suppliers as well as Nova Scotia suppliers to be able to offer our customers local products everywhere possible that we can to do this. We consider it a privilege to be able to provide Canadians with product they trust. And as you all know, same as we know, that customers coming into our Walmarts today are looking for Nova Scotia grown product. We've seen that in the past with the things we've done with advertising and at the product, where we see lifts in sales and those things. Right now, we deal with more than 2,200 suppliers, and they're just a small handful of those that we interact with, and likely some of you on this call today. Right now, we work with more than 70 Atlantic Canadian suppliers, and we spend about $400 million worth of goods last year, from seafood to furniture. It's a sizable number. That being said, we know the opportunity is bigger to be out there in order to support Nova Scotia and everyone that works within Nova Scotia to be able to buy Nova Scotia local. We're calling it Nova Scotia Local, powered by Walmart, and that is, how do we continue to work with local suppliers that our Nova Scotia customers are looking for? And I think our biggest opportunity, you'll hear me say this a couple of times, is it's the unknown. It's the vendors we know, the product we don't know. And that's the idea of today, is create that connection. And hopefully, if nothing else comes out of today, is you now have a couple of voices and a couple of faces that you can make connections with in order to be able to bring the information back to our SSE, our merchant team. So at Walmart, we have one centrally located office. It is located in Mississauga. And there we have merchant teams that drive all of the different initiatives. But what we do have is people like myself who work in different parts of the country, who become that connection piece in order to make the connections in order for us to continue to build local within our communities. Now, we are looking to work with more vendors, et cetera. So again, at the end of the day, hopefully we can make that connection piece out of this. Just to give a little view around our strategy itself and what we've been doing to this point, is a major focus on Canadian made as well as local. So we have our overall arching, which is Canadian made. And then depending on where we're at for Nova Scotia, we have our Nova Scotia grown program at the same time. Currently dealing with 60 suppliers and growers within Nova Scotia itself. And we're working with local distributors to consolidate and ship local product direct to our stores. Understanding, especially in the environment that we're in today, shipping is a huge cost to all of you as it is to us to move product around. When you think about trucks, you think about gas, et cetera, that really drive costs. And how do we find ways to minimize interruption, keep costs at a level that's fair and equitable so Nova Scotians can afford to buy the product that they're looking for. Meat and seafood, we work directly with and indirectly with different farmer processors, and our goal is to offer 100% Canadian across the board in those areas. And what we just wanted to show is when you think about what our customers are looking for. So one of the trends that we've seen over the last little bit is more customers are looking at flyers. In the environment that we live in today, with inflation rising the way it is, customers continually looking for ways to feed their family healthily and do that within the budget constraints that they're currently within. So when you think about Walmart, we are known for our low prices. We are known for being able to have products for our customers. And the one thing we want to continue to be known for, and I don't think we do a good enough job of telling our story today, we want to continue to do that, is let everyone know that we actually support the local farmers, vendors, suppliers at the same time. And we've been integrating that more into our flyer. So the customer knows, hey, listen, that looks like a great price on strawberries as an example. They know not only is it a great price, but I'm supporting someone in my own community. We're trying to bring that to life in our flyer and in our store. You can go to the next page, Nick. And more importantly, as we continue to do that, is just making sure everyone understands that across the board, you have options to choose from. And our goal is to choose the option that brings local and Canadian to them first and foremost. Now, one of the other trends that we know is out there is, you can go to the next page, Nick, is the online trend. And with time now being a commodity that is very, very valuable to our consumers out there today, we know they're spending more time looking at not only on flyers, but online. And we're also seeing a large uptick in customers who want to be able to order, show up, pick up their items, or actually have them delivered to their home. So our goal and our strategy when we think about local is, how do we not only find out who we can work with, what are the items that maybe we don't have that we should have? How do we bring it to life in our flyer where our customers are looking? How do we bring it to life in store? And how do we bring it to life online at the same time? And the online medium gives us a bigger opportunity to tell stories and be able to introduce the different pieces of the puzzle, such as who they're supporting, how they're impacting, how they're actually driving the Nova Scotia economy and supporting all of you at the exact same time. Next page. So just a couple of things. I thought I'd share a couple of things that we're doing, not only across, we see a lot more within the fresh business, produce and seafood, but also how we continue to grow what we're doing in grocery at the same time. And, we've different parts of the country, there's a couple of different programs that are out there. We have Foodland BC, have Foodland Ontario, Elemental Quebec, and how we continue to make Nova Scotia and the local part of Nova Scotia even bigger when it comes to life. And I thought I'd share a couple of quick things. Obviously, we know there's a fair amount of vendors in Nova Scotia and suppliers that we have product of that we don't show a good job showing off today. But I thought I'd call out the Crossman and Widman honey as a great opportunity that I thought I would share as well. They're a small company. We were carrying them. Because sometimes you're a big company, things fall through the cracks. They had an opportunity where their items got accidentally delisted. They reached out, connected with them myself, able to make the thing, they're back in our stores and offered to Nova Scotia customers today. So again, one of those things that maybe I did not know all the ins and outs of, but because we create that relationship, which to me is the biggest part of everything that we do, we're able to make sure that Nova Scotians could buy this honey in their local store in the area that this company could actually deliver to. So a couple of things, there's questions that we always get a lot. And I thought I would take a few minutes and just kind of work through some of those questions that I know some of you may have and how you can work with Walmart. What are some of the roadblocks? And I think sometimes I've heard in the past where, oh, we can't, Walmart's too big, they need this or they need that. What I would say is always open for a conversation. I think that's the most important part when you think about how you build relations and how you move forward. There are a few things that we are looking for from our partners that you can have discussions, and our merchants would then have these discussions further with the individuals that are looking for questions and answers on it. First is food safety, paramount to us. The most important thing we do is offer safe food for our customers. Second, there has to be preventative control for fresh fruits and vegetables. And third is the CFIA import license. Now, again, those are kind of like the minimum pieces that we are looking for. That being said, we have partnered locally with different consolidators, which we'll continue to do. This opens the door for more partnerships that may not exist currently today to bring more vendors and items on board. Now, the other question we get here a lot is, well, do I have to ship it all to the DC? Can I deliver at DSD? What are some of the options that make it feasible for me as a small grower or supplier in order to be able to be successful? Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want you to run a successful business. We want our customers to be able to get quality product that's local at a fair price. And of course, at the end of the day, we want them to come to Walmart to get that product. So there are some things that will have to be worked out. But again, these are all open for discussion to figure out what is the best route to doing this. So being able to service our network. So depending on your size and how many stores we're looking at doing, a lot of it comes out of our DC. And as you heard Nick talk earlier, we are beyond excited to have a DC opening in Moncton. And for some of those that are currently delivering into Cornwall, depending on the item, this may save you a lot of delivery costs as well, because now you won't have to go as far. It also gives us the ability, when you think about quantity that would need in order to supply our stores, because this DC will supply the Atlantic, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, and have a huge impact on maybe some quantities and some minimums that may exist out there today. Scale and technology. How high is high? I think that is one of the.
Nick,
yeah,
or David, sorry to interrupt, but you do have a question. Did you want to answer that now?
Sure.
Yeah. Did you want me to read it to you?
If you don't mind.
Yep. So this is from Joe, and his question is, given Walmart is known and proud of its low pricing, given farmers' margins continue to be driven even lower, especially these past 2 years, and given most of Nova Scotia farmers are smaller to medium size, does Walmart's model drive farmers' margins even lower?
That is a great question. And one thing about me, I'm always going to be transparent. That is a question I'm going to have to, I don't know if I can directly answer, because I don't do the negotiations with the individual farmers or suppliers. That would be done with the merchants. What I can say, again, at the end of the day, which I just mentioned a second ago, is our goal for us to be successful. We know we need our partners to also be successful in order to provide that product out to our customers. So depending on the situation, depending on a number of different variables, which would be very hard to cover in this today, there would be different conversations that would be held that have to be done individually with the merchant, depending on the commodity. But again, at the end of the day, our goal is for our vendors to be successful. When they're successful, we're successful. So lots of things come into different play. Hopefully that doesn't give you every little answer you're looking for, but hopefully it gives you some guidance on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, from a standard standpoint, we are looking for certain specs and grading for the product that we're offering our customer, because we want to offer customers quality product at great pricing. And obviously, we want to continue to build, the brand within the community, not only our brand, but also the brand that we're bringing on board. And again, the last piece is, how big do you want to be? What are your options? Do you have the ability to actually support and growing and scaling? One thing we know about Walmart is we do sell a lot of what we do sell of, and the opportunity is there to grow that. We've had some experiences in the past, worked with some great vendors, including in Nova Scotia, where we had some items, and just being able to see how far we could actually push an item. I would say we're better at having the ability to drive tonnage. So that's something that we look at, because once a customer knows we have it, they come in looking for it, we want to make sure that we can actually look after that customer and they can be trusted and confident to come to Walmart next week and they'll be able to get that product. Next slide, Nick. Actually, can you go back to the one? I think we have one on there just around trends, if you don't mind.
Just gonna stop for 1 second on the share, and I'm gonna pull that one up.
I think this is kind of a couple of pieces of key information as we think about the future. We think about trends and impact and what customers are actually, how they're transitioned over the last little bit as we go through, come out of this pandemic. And there's 4 sentiments that I can share with you today. The first one is this cautious optimism. And what we're seeing is in connection with customers that we're hearing that their overall concern is going down, even though we all see what is happening out there today as restrictions have come down. But obviously there is some concern around cases rising, but people are actually somewhat a little bit more comfortable at this point than they've been in the past. We've seen unemployment rebound. And as we've all probably seen, you're probably struggling with too, is actually finding people to work and be able to cover the shifts that need to be able to do. So that's a huge shift. We're also starting to see, and I think this is impactful too, and you probably see it with some of the folks you deal with, is you're starting to see customers now who through the pandemic were eating at home consistently are now starting to step out into a restaurant. And you're starting to see a little bit of shift of the percentage of customers that are now more comfortable going out and eating in restaurants, which makes it even more important to make sure we're telling a story on the product we offer and the prices that we do as well. Now, as we see people start to change their work habits, right now about 25% of Canadians are working from home. So obviously that is a much larger number than it was pre-pandemic, and a lot smaller it was during the actual main part of the pandemic as well. So you start to see different shopping routines that customers come out of, that when they can go into a store, when they have access. And now you start to see time again starts to pick up a little bit more, and how important time is for them. And that ties really into the ability to trust a retailer to be able to go and get the product they're looking for and get out in a timely fashion, or be able to use online pickup or online delivery at the same time. The second part is budget and value. And as we all know right now, inflation in February, I think, was up 5.7%. It's one of the highest numbers since 1991. And, food is one of the biggest ones that's seen, as well as shelter and gas have really gone up. That's impacting our wallets. And this is where I talked about earlier, where we start to see flyer readership actually going up a fair amount, as well as coupon usage, as customers look for ways in order to be able to provide the way they did before, at the same time being understanding of the impact it's actually having for them to provide to their family in many different ways. And then from a healthy living perspective, this is one thing that really kind of popped up through the pandemic itself, is that many people have started to eat healthier. They want to be able to continue to do that. And I think that's where all of you play a huge part in being able to provide this product to customers that are out there today. And especially as we become more of an aging population at the same time, people are trying to drive their energy, their health through that. We've seen that a lot, and with their purchasing power and how they're asking questions and what they're kind of transitioning to at the same time. And then lastly, I would say one of the biggest trends, and it became a necessity to some degree during the pandemic, but we're also seeing it continue to exist out there, is just the adoption of omni and e-commerce. Basically 50% of Canadians are using digital to pre-plan their shopping. So whether it's, flyers, whether it's digital flyers, whether it's websites, whether it's apps, they're starting to make those decisions before they actually get there, with the intent of not adding to their order when they get in the store. I think we've all done that. You get to a store, you have an idea, I'm going to go and buy 12 items. Next thing you know, you're walking around, you're walking out with 15 or 18. Because of the budget and value that's out there right now, people are being much more diligent about the decisions they're making. And that's why it was important for me to share earlier how we're trying to bring things to life and show local, so that if we are dealing with a Nova Scotia local vendor, we are actually bringing it to life, both in our flyer, online, on our apps, and on our website at the same time. So thinking about how you play and how you can have an impact into driving, again, your business, as well as the Nova Scotia part. Just a couple of things for you to just consider and think about as we move through this. And Walmart wants to work with you in order to help Canadians and Nova Scotians save money and live better in the area of coming out of a pandemic and the highest inflation we've seen in a very long time. So if you can go to the last slide. So, we're sharing some information with you about who we are, what we can do. There's lots of options out there. I've had the luxury over especially the last few years, when we first started this a little more in depth than we've done before, to meet and interact and work with our merchants up in our office to be able to bring more local products than we've ever had before into Walmart stores. We know it's important, but there are some things, and this is kind of where I would ask for us to interact a little bit, and things for you maybe to take back, because I'll go back to, there are things we know and there are things we don't know. I'm from Nova Scotia, and there's lots of product out there that I don't know is from Nova Scotia, and we also don't know capabilities. So I guess, when we think about how we're interacting, there's a couple of things. Do we carry, I'll get to you in 1 second, Melissa. Do we carry all the right brands around? So if you have an item that's out there that you think we should have, that you think you can supply, and you want to have a conversation about, it's important to create that connection point. So whether that's through myself or directly with our merchants, we want to make sure we're creating that connection out there. And as we come out of the pandemic, I look forward to being able to travel again a little more and be able to interact and see some of these different businesses that are out there. We want to make sure that how do we leverage buy local programs? And I would say this, as what we're doing, we can bring it alive in a flyer. We can bring it alive online. The one thing I would ask you to think about is, when they pick up the product, do they know it's local? How do they know when they pick up the product it is local? So think about, if you're doing packaging, what does that packaging look like? Is it called out? Is it clear in a time when customers don't have a lot of time on their hands to look as they may have done in the past? How do they know when they're picking up that item? I've picked up a Nova Scotia item and I'm supporting my community. And then, we're always looking, and I'm always walking and say, hey, what can we do better? What are we not doing as good as someone else? What are some opportunities that we can take a look at? And then lastly, and if I leave today, and I know we've got some connection points, feel free to reach out. We want to make sure we're creating those connections. I won't be able to answer all of the questions, but I want to do is be a voice for Nova Scotia, for you, with our merchants, in order to make those connections to see what can and cannot be done. Melissa, I think you had a couple of questions, I'm assuming.
Yes, I have two actually. So they're both anonymous. So the first one is, the Canadian Centre for Food Integrity completes an annual survey to Canadians on trust levels throughout the food system. Only 22% of the respondents ranked grocery stores at a high level of trust. What is something Walmart can do to improve trust for Nova Scotians?
Wow, that is a great question. I think the thing that I would say, or the piece that I would be able to give feedback on, is this, and I think we may all feel the same way as well. I think we have to do a better job in Walmart of telling our story. I've had the luxury of sitting in on customer connections to hear what the customers are saying. And again, I think I said it earlier in the presentation, is we haven't done a great job of telling our story about where that product is, where it's coming from. I think that's really important as we continue to grow local. People have a high trust level when they walk into a farmer's market because they know it came, or it feels like, or it looks like it came local. Is how do we bring that same feel into our stores? And that's why it's really important on the pieces that we do to tell the story, both in the flyer, both digitally, and then again, that piece of how do we bring it together? How do we work together as a relationship so that a customer knows they pick it up, it actually came from Nova Scotia? I think that's the biggest opportunity for us to be able to build that trust factor. I haven't read that survey, so I can't really give a lot of detailed information into it, but I would suggest that the ability to bring it alive in our stores will continue to build that.
The next question, it's anonymous as well. And it is, what should producers know about listing fees, UPC requirements, photo requirements, etc., and the cost associated with these?
Great question. And I will say that I cannot make any direct comment on that, just because I don't do those negotiations. And I think, that would have to be done directly with the vendor. What I would say is this: Don't let it scare you from having a conversation with one of our merchants to get all of the information to decide if that relationship is right for you. I don't know how many times I've heard, well, I didn't want to reach out because I think this or I think that. I would say this: eliminate the think, move to the know, have the conversation. Worst case scenario, the conversation doesn't go somewhere and it's not the right fit for you. I think that applies to any business out there, not just Walmart Canada. But you'd be surprised sometimes how those things actually turn into something good. You know, we'll use the Wayne Gretzky analogy of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So small conversations sometimes lead to big things. Nick?
I mean, just maybe to add to that, to your point, it may not be the right time right now, but we've seen other conversations that have started in a not right now place and turned into a long-term relationship. So I think the biggest takeaway from everything that David's mentioned today is don't be afraid to reach out. And we are consistently seeing people who have said that they didn't know that there was an option to be affiliated or be a Walmart supplier. So please don't hesitate to contact us. And that's why we're here today and making these connections.
And would you two be the point of contact for, I know some of these questions, or I know you mentioned David, the merchant, because it kind of flows into the next question. So I'm just wondering if you guys had particular people that you wanted to list for folks to contact. Like for an example, the next question is, I would like to discuss selling my products in Walmart. Who do I contact to start the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we've done some different things in the past. We have worked, through with the Perinia group. We've worked with some different groups as well. What I can do is more than comfortable to provide my email if you want to reach out as a connection point, and then I can make the connections with the right merchant for you and let it go from there. If that makes sense, we can share it out to the group.
Yeah, we could send out afterwards too. If that's helpful for everyone.
Yep.
Your contact.
You can send out my contact information. Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's any questions like that, yeah.
Yeah, anything directly around product itself and listing is, better off to come through me, and I can help bridge those connections with the office.
Perfect. Oh, and yeah, we just got confirmation that someone from Perinia can help arrange all that. So that is great. Perfect. And we just have a few minutes left here. I'm just getting a note here before we start our session. So if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to ask them. And if not, you can definitely send them to David and Nick directly.
Melissa, I want to thank you and the team for hosting and taking us through this. For all the folks on the call, I can't see everyone that's on the call. That's the good and the bad of the virtual connections. But listen, Walmart Canada is committed to working with vendors, suppliers, farmers of all sizes and sorts to figure out what is the right relationship for everyone. We continue to focus on how we can support locally, Canadian, etc. So again, the things we don't know, probably some things you don't know, making those connections helps eliminate some of that gray area. And then you never know what can be achieved as we move forward. And for those that we are currently dealing with today, we appreciate everything you've done to be able to allow us to be able to support Nova Scotians, especially through this last couple of years, which has been extremely tough. So thank you and appreciate everyone's time today.
Yeah, I want to echo David's comments as well. Melissa, thank you very much for hosting us. Reiterate that please reach out if you have questions, if you want to start the conversation with us. And a big takeaway from us is that each year when we revise these presentations, our associate numbers are being revised to continue to go up. And those are local people who work in the province. So we continue to grow our local footprint. We're not going anywhere. These are real people. They're not machines in the stores. There's actually physical people there who are employed and part of the community. So we're proud to be part of it, and thank you all for supporting and being here today to listen.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe Adam